everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Franchisee X Scale Your Future, brought to you by LiveMint in association with 100x Growth Partners by Expertrons. This masterclass series is all about helping you unlock the real blueprint behind building a franchisee led business. I am Shivani Vahalia Parikh, host for today, and today's session is about something every growth focused founder needs to understand: how to shift from just running a product to building a platform that can scale. Most entrepreneurs begin with a product, a cafe, a salon, a school, or a service. But at some point, the question becomes, how do I grow without burning out? How do I scale without being everywhere at once? I know that sounds exhausting. According to latest data, the Indian franchising industry is growing at a compound annual growth rate of 30 to 35% and is expected to touch $140 billion by 2027. Yet, less than 5% of India's SMEs and startups explore franchising as a scale model. That's because franchising is not just a legal model, it's a mindset shift. It requires the founder to stop being the sole driver and start becoming the architect of a system. A shift from control to clarity, from hustle to structure. In this conversation, we will unpack what it means to move from business operator to platform builder. And who better to join us today than two growth leaders? Bhupenddra Singh Raathore, a business and behavior coach with 15 years plus of experience, transforming MSMEs into growth engines. And joining us is Jatin Solanki, co-founder of Expertrons, who has launched 100x Growth Partners, world's first growth accelerator for offline scaling. He's helped brands go from one or two locations to scaling across the country with smart execution and hands-on support for founders. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. And the first question I have is for actually Bhupenddra. Welcome first, Jatin and Bhupenddra.
Hey,
Very, very honored to have you both here. And I
thanks.
think our audience and all of us are looking forward to some actual insights which they can take home today and actually think of scaling. So, Bhupenddra, first to you. You've worked with thousands of businesses across revenue stages with 15 years of experience as a trainer and then as a coach. What's the first mindset block you see in founders who want to scale, but for some reason, they remain stuck?
Thank you so much, Shivani, first of all, for inviting me to this podcast. And thank you, Jatin. Really nice meeting you. And everyone who is watching this podcast or live streaming, I really bow down to you. The highest in me bows down to the highest in you. Now I come to the question. The question is, what is the most amazing, I would say the block in the mind of the founders? I found that they really don't want to let go. They are like, they want to become businessmen, they want to become entrepreneurs, but they end up becoming self-employed. Most of them really want to control each and every part of their business alone, and they just want to get into each and every operation of their business. So I majorly ask entrepreneurs like, hey, you are in business for the last 10 years. Now, why do you still need to go to your office? Is your business running you, or are you running your business? And most of them are like, my business is running me. I ask them another question. I say, if 6 months, for the next 6 months, if you really go out of your business, will your business grow? Will your business remain at the same level, or will it go down? And majority of them say that the business will go probably down. Why? Because there are no systems. Why? Because there are no operational, I would say, hierarchies. There are no teamwork. There's no complete procedure. There are no systems. So that is what the biggest block. They're not able to think, I would say. I always say that business does not grow when you actually want the business to grow or when you run a lot. Business grows when you think a lot. And I always tell them that you must have a think tank. Ambani is running the business, or Adani is running the business, or Mahindra is running the business. They have board of directors. They have the world's best thinking brains for themselves. But majority of the business owners, when it comes to thinking, They just go and discuss with their family, they go and discuss with their friends. Most of them are either at par with them, or are not in business, or are below them. So that is where the block is, not understanding that experts can help you grow your business, not understanding that if you keep running the business in the same way, then you will keep getting the similar results, or you will grow too slow, which is not a growth at all. I always tell entrepreneurs, if you're not growing every year on year 30%, that means you're not growing at all. Many of them, they say, sir, this is not possible. Like every year, 10% growth is an amazing growth. But I don't believe in that. Why? Because every year, if you look at your lifestyle gets better, your business expenses goes up. If you have just 15-20% of the profit, then how would you really meet all your expenses? Like 30% goes into your income tax, or maybe different taxes. So I always tell that minimum you should have or must have 30% of the growth annually. And if you can sustain this, that's amazing. But that is not possible without you having an external brain, without you having the brain of those people who are already busy, really helping the businesses grow. So the biggest block is not taking the help from the external world or fighting their own battle. Yeah.
Thank you. That was really, really very well said. I think the message is that these people who have their own businesses don't want to really leave the driver's seat. Any thoughts you want to share, Jatin, quickly before I give you your next question? The
Yeah,
question.
I think amazing insights. I think Bhupendra, I think you put it in a very beautiful way. And of course, like over the last 15 years of building businesses, of selling businesses, I've experienced the same. Like, of course, as a founder, you always feel that while you're on the driver's seat, you always feel that you are running it the best and you would not want anyone else to do it. But if you're not able to leave that task for system, for people, then who will do the more important stuff? So, and that's what we speak with brands. When we speak with other founders, we do talk about them to kind of let the team drive some of these things, so that they have some space in their plate to kind of drive important things, like say raising funds for their company or doing more important stuff. If they keep doing the same mundane thing, then of course it won't grow at all. It won't help them kind of grow their venture. And I love the point about like 35% growth. Like a capital just sitting in a FD or in a mutual fund may grow faster if you're not growing, if your business is not growing at 35%. So if you're actively participating in a business, it needs to really grow better than a passive, like better than a capital growing. So like, I mean, amazing points, Bhupendra. Yeah.
Okay. So, Jatin, what I gather from your answer is that we are talking about a mindset evolution. So, my question to you is that your journey from an edtech entrepreneur to building Expertrons and now 100x growth also reflects that mindset evolution. So, when did you personally realize that scale needs system and not just vision?
Yeah.
And
No,
from like,
amazing question, Shivani. I think you've put it in a very like the question is really well framed, and I'm like it. Of course, in the lifespan of an entrepreneur, it happens to you at multiple stages. For us, of course, while I was building my previous venture, and that was in gamification of learning, we reached a scale where we were serving close to 2 million students, and there was chaos. There was a lot of chaos. We were, of course, hustling to kind of solve that chaos. And at that stage, of course, we realized that systems in place would kind of make things even better for us. So for anyone who is wanting to kind of build something, wanting to scale, maybe vision will get you to say 10 stores, or say 100 stores. But if you have to reach to 10,000, then you have to kind of make a system, make a process out of it, and actually make it kind of ready to scale version of it. And hence system in place is really important. And kind of letting go the driver's seat, bringing in good people, bringing in systems in place is kind of really important for any founder who wants to scale. Also, like it is important to have that mindset, because not everyone kind of gets into that mindset. Some founders, one, they as Bhupendra also rightly said, like they may look at other people who may not have businesses, or they may look at friends to get their advice. And the aspiration they may have is one thing, but then what they need to do for that aspiration is a completely different thing, and that's something which is very difficult to for people to kind of execute or do in execution. So bringing in really good quality people into the system, or bringing in brightest minds, and saying that, hey, there is someone else who can do these things better than me, is a mindset shift which is very much required. So yeah, I mean, that's something which needs to be brought in, and there, of course, there are many such examples. A company out of China called Mixiu, which went public a few months back, they have become larger than Starbucks. They have become larger than McDonald's. They have like 46,000 stores, and their founders have become richer than the Starbucks founders. For someone to kind of look at companies like these and say that, hey, as a QSR brand, you can kind of grow so big, is something which will actually need a mindset shift, which will actually need systems in place, which will actually need for them to have that ambition to kind of grow. So yeah, I mean, for us, of course, it was multiple stages, but yeah, I mean, this is something which is very much required for entrepreneurs who want to scale beyond a point.
Thank you, Jatin, for that very, very insightful answer. And I want to focus on that word systems. And Bhupenddra, my question to you is: when you help founders to adopt, help founders to make their business scalable and less founder dependent, are there any systems that you help them put in practice? And if you could help us just with one or two systems or any behavior change specifically.
Yeah, I really have like a team of experts. Like when it comes to finance, there are people from the finance domain. My major expertise is like helping them understand that you really need right from a vision to a growth plan for the next 15 years. So first, a system which I really want each and every founder to set is having a long-term plan. I always believe that an ordinary person has a plan not even for 3 months in place, but an extraordinary person has at least 25 years of plan, or maybe 15 years of plan. I know in 15 years they raise a question that, what if the global scenario change, political scenario change? I say scenarios may change, but where do you really want to head? What do you really want to be known for? What is that one key skill or key technology or that key product which should be your hero product? If you do not have that hero product and the plan around that hero product, then the rest of the things will not be able to build. So first you have that hero product or a hero service, and you have a plan around that, and then you really have a wonderful team and a beautiful culture around that team build. Most of the people come to me and they say that we are able to build that system, but all those people who build that system now, they are no more with the company, and we have tough time to teach the new team adopt that system. They say that we have become a training organization kind of a thing that people come and people leave. So I say second system which you need to really have is to retain good talent with yourself. So if we are able to build that culture in the company, that the good talent would love to work with us, then there are a lot of things. So I tell them that a good talent will remain in your company for 3-4 reasons. One is if they are experiencing a lot of growth. So do you have their growth plans? Number two, if they are continuously learning in the company, if they really feel that yes, this company is adding value to their personal life or their intellectual life, then they really remain in the company for a long time. Or the third thing is if they are getting some challenging assignments where they really feel that adrenaline rush kind of a thing, that yes, I did this, and they have that sense of achievement kind of a thing. Or if they are connected with the founder or maybe the core of the company. So these 5-6 things, if they have really in place, like rest all the systems this team can build and run. But if that team is united, I'm sure like a lot of things can be changed. So how you build that, that's definitely a long-term journey. That's a journey where it requires a lot of effort, and definitely after trusting so many people, also many times people do not stick to the company. But yes, retaining teams, giving them that sense of security, giving them that sense of comfort is another thing. So first is long-term planning, then having small milestones for 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, and a very rigorous monitoring or review. I was checking out a few comments and I was seeing Mr. Sahu writing that money is the most important thing which will really build the teams and systems, and most of the businesses get killed because of money. I agree, Mr. Sahu. But I always say that there are many companies who are cash rich, they have a lot of money, but still they are able to collapse. They are collapsing, in fact. They're not able to sustain beyond a point. Why? Because when the market changes or situations change, they don't really are able to change the plans very fast, or the teams are not reliable with them. So I always believe that having a very good, robust system of retaining people, keeping them happy, building a very beautiful organizational culture, which should be value driven. I think this can help us retain good talent, and then that will really bring a lot of money flow. And then whatever system we build, that system can run the company. So that's what I feel. So these two major plans, if they're in place, I think they're good to go.
Lots of insights there, but the key takeaways for me, at least, were that business people tend to probably sometimes get more dependent on family advice than professional advice, and despite having a lot of money, you could still collapse. So those are very big takeaways. My next question is to you, Jatin. In simple words, how do you make a business partner a franchisee ready? Like how do you
Yeah.
prepare them that this is the time to take that big leap? Any case studies or and proof of
Yeah.
scale you want to share with the audience here?
Yeah. So no, amazing question, and the most important thing is around product market fit, which is a very critical aspect of what things are working for the business, and if a business has certain revenue, is it happening through a certain way, and can we kind of standardize the same, and can we kind of build it in a scalable fashion? Because I mean, the most important thing is to kind of realize that if some of these things which are working for you are being standardized and are made franchise ready, the same things can be kind of passed to a partner. Some of these things could be, say, marketing or go to market, or some of these things could be training of the resources which are there at your center. So one of the nail salon brands with whom we work, they had cracked the code of kind of the skilled resources which they had got, and they knew that every time they add a franchisee, they'll be able to provide them with skilled labor, and they knew where they are going to kind of source them from, how they are going to train them, how they are going to incentivize them. And so you need to know what is working for your business, and you need to know that that can be scale ready, that needs to be standardized, and that needs to be passed as a kit to an onboarding process for a franchisee. So that's like one of the most important thing, of course, we look at. The second aspect, of course, is de-risking the capital, because while you scale, some businesses spend money or lose money while scaling. Some businesses, of course, would want to scale but not lose money on it, and that's a very important aspect. That's where we come into picture. We actually put capital into scaling, so we actually invest with the company, and we do have, like, we are world's first accelerator for offline scaling, and that's where we kind of contribute both, like, and in the accelerator we have two formats. One is an equity format, one is a non-equity format. So we actually invest into the company to scale their branding, sales, marketing, and build it in a profitable manner. So if you are a company which is bootstrapped, if you're a fundraised company, in either ways, you of course want to preserve the capital you have. And while you scale, while you build your franchise vertical, and while you grow to, say, 100 scale, 150 scale over the period of 1 year, you would not want to kind of lose money on every set of expansion which you do. And that's where our role kind of comes into picture. We de-risk the capital for the company. We invest with the brand on offline scaling, and yeah, I mean, that's where our role kind of comes into play.
Jatin, my question, sorry, Bhupendra, similar question for you. Can you share a real success story, maybe a business under 5 crore, 1 crore that scaled to 100 crores or even more? What change did they make in the way they worked that made it possible?
Yeah, Shivani, there was a small business owner, like he was running a chai shop, and all of a sudden his father expired. And then this was a young boy and two, three brothers. They started running this chai shop. But then somehow this gentleman knew that I need the fresh ideas. He had big dreams. He had big thought processes. He really wanted to expand, just like McDonald's or something like that. So he's Pune based. There is a Rajas in India. He's a Marathi guy, and the brand name is Yevle Amratulle. Now, Mr. Navnath Yevle, when he met me, I mean, we were discussing like how to really take his startup, this chai shop, with a lot of loans. His father left this around, I think, 21 lakh rupees kind of a loan that time. And he was working in a company, and then all of a sudden he had to shift to this chai business, and he was selling chai in just one small shop. And then we started thinking, like we said, why not we have a lot of stores? What about having 100 stores? And we were just thinking, and he said, sir, this is not possible. I said, why not possible? If McDonald's can do it, why can't you do it? I said, let's think about uh, definitely different options. So we started studying different things, like what kind of recipes, why would people come? And then we did specifically thousands of things. Like, for example, his chai shop, we said, there should not be any distraction except chai. There should not be any other ingredient, like some snacks items or something like that. I said only chai. People come only chai. Second thing, let's have a standardization that we will not ask any of the founders to sit. Like, suppose I'm a franchisee owner, we told him that we have to have minimum 4 staffs or 5 staffs, and the founder should not sit on the chai counter to collect the money or anything. Why? Because if the founder is sitting over there, or maybe a franchisor is sitting over there, then there are a lot of people who know him and they would like to come and have gup shop and all those kind of things. So we said, let's have a very robust system. We made these small, so many things, like one person who is just making the chai is only making the chai. The one person who is just washing the utensils, he's only washing the utensils. There's one person who is just sitting and counting the money, he's only doing that. We are not going to serve the chai on anybody's office and all those. So these are like fixed set of 15-20 rules which we made. Branding, this is the branding kind of a thing and all. When we did all this, slowly and slowly, there was a franchisee mela which he did, and you would be surprised that for the first time in the history of, I think, I don't know, I have not heard of anything. When he announced his chai shop franchisee, more than around 1,800 people applied for his franchisee, and there was one auditorium which he booked for around 1,000 people to address those people in one single day, and more people turned up. There were a lot of people sitting outside the auditorium, and when he announced his franchisee, it was like around 100 franchisee we had to give on the first go. All of a sudden 100 franchises were given, and it was such a big success story. And then all of a sudden he was all over, and today he has more than around 150 plus stores, doing absolutely amazing. More and more thing. Yeah, definitely during COVID some challenges came up, and there were a lot of chai stores opening up, but still he's growing, and he's building very solid brand around Pune and around Maharashtra. And very soon he's now reaching to the rest of the country. There was a similar success story. This is now a smaller one, which we recently started like 2 years ago. There was one cafe, small cafe You and Me. We replicated the similar success story with them, and they were just sitting on 2 cafes. And today we have around 27 cafes for Cafe You and Me. So these are the things, like, yes, just like Jatin said, standardization, it is a must. You definitely need a plan, you need a retention plan, but retention plan has to be for those people who are like key people. Rest of the people will keep coming and going. And I say franchisee is one of the best models. Why? Because the franchisee owner is actually putting up his capital. Because of that capital, he is more involved in the business. Because of that, he will be really paying attention to every small detail. He has got equal interest to grow his business. So I always think that if you have got a good product, why not you really have lot of people as your partners, growth partners I call them, rather than calling them franchisees. And I suggest, like, anybody who wants to start the business, rather than they jumping into an ocean and all of a sudden trying a new idea, I always tell them that if you are new to business, you don't know anything about the business, then own a franchisee, so that you can learn every trick of the trade from the franchisor, and you know how they are scaling the businesses, what kind of rules they are making for you, and tomorrow you bring your own product, and probably start your own business. So I think it is win-win for franchisee as well as franchisor, and these are the kind of success stories which excite me. Uh, and really give me a kick to work as a coach.
Wow. I have had the pleasure of having Yevalai Chai in a very small town in Maharashtra. And when
Yeah.
I shifted to a new city and I
Hmm.
saw Yevalai Chai again, I was thrilled. And it's just like your McDonald's, exact copies. And very beautiful, just as the way you explained, focus is only on chai. You can stand or they have these small stools. Very well explained. Thank you so much. Jatin, I have a very exciting question for you because I know you work, one of your early EV clients scaled rapidly across 20 locations.
Yeah.
And tell me just what were the first three things you did for them that set the foundation?
Yeah. No, thanks for the question. So this EV client of ours, of course, they were actually into EV subscription. So they were renting out EV bikes, and it actually, this company belonged to one of our seniors from IIT Bombay. For them, very interestingly, they took like 5 years to be at 7,000 vehicle fleets. So they were their 7,000 bikes were on rental in the Delhi in Chandigarh area, and of course they wanted to franchise, so they were kind of thinking around that idea. And of course, when we got associated, we helped them build their franchise model. So how their franchise model would look like, how the ROI table would look like. We of course brainstormed with the founder on what a franchisee would kind of want. And of course, there were certain things which they had as part of the central association, which would basically be supports, demand generation, all the tie-ups which they had with, say, a Zomato, Swiggy, Zepto, and they would provide that to the partners. So of course, we invested that time with the founder to make sure that the ROI table, the franchise model kind of looks perfect. So that was like the first part which we did. The second part was actually working with them on the branding side. So I do run a podcast, and we've kind of gotten a lot of CXOs, a lot of founders on that. So we got this founder also on the podcast, spoke about his mission, vision, about actually their partner model, created reels out of it, published PR stories. So did a lot of interesting work on the branding side. And third aspect, we actually hired a team. We trained the team, started executing their sales and marketing. In a period of 3 months, we were able to kind of expand them to 20 locations. They were actually able to increase their fleet from 7,000 fleet to actually 10,000 fleet within the next 4 months. So that was very interesting. Thing which took them 5 years to reach to 7,000 bikes, they were actually able to add another 3,000 fleet in just 4 months of time. So that was a very interesting growth they were able to get. And these 20 franchisees kind of brought in 4.5 crores of investment into the brand to open up these 20 locations. So that was very interesting for this particular brand. And very interestingly, this founder was also raising funds. And our involvement is not only until kind of helping you expand, but also to the level to introduce you to investors, to kind of make sure that you're kind of investor ready, give you the right playbook to raise funds. So we introduced them to our investors, to newer investors. Eventually, they were able to close a $5 million fund for themselves, like a 40 crore fund for themselves. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is a very exciting journey which we had with this EV client, and of course, the journey now continues because it's been going well for them, and the plan is in the entire year can we kind of go to 100 to 150 locations with them. Yeah, so that was the journey which we had with them.
I'm sure they are going to go places with all the efforts Expertrons has put in. Bhupendra, my next question, and you have mentioned briefly in your earlier answer that you want to help business look beyond just next few months, but rather for the next 25 years. That's the vision. But in terms of actual training or coaching, how do you train them to think beyond just survival, beyond just that sustenance, to IPO, to legacy, to wealth creation? What can you give us some insight into your strategy without giving us too much?
Shivani, thank you so much for asking this question. This is very close to my heart because any businessman come to me and they say, "Sir, I want to reach 200 crore, 200 crore," and suppose they are like most of the businessmen, they are struggling to hit their first 1 crore or first 10 crores or first 50 crores. And I just tell them that I can't coach you just like that. I have no magic wand to really take your business to 500 crores, because if it would be that easy, I would have been myself sitting at 1000 crores. So I tell them that, it all starts with a very grand vision, and I can just help you to go deeper and discover your vision. I always tell them that vision cannot be created; it has to be discovered. It is your future within yourself, which you really crave for, and there is a very systematic way. Like, it will be very difficult for me to explain that in a short while, but I can recommend each and every one of you who are sitting here to read these two books, which will give you the deeper insight about why visionary companies are able to really scale big and they are able to survive for 100 years also, or 200 years, and why so many other companies who do not have a grand vision, they just fail in spite of having all the money, all the resources, all the world. The books are like Good to Great, and the other one is, I would say, Build It to Last. Both are written by an author called Jim Collins. When I read these books, I was like, I read them way back in 2012, and that was the time I was just entering into business coaching. I didn't know, like, will I be able to become a good coach or not? Will I be able to help entrepreneurs? But when I read these books, I was like, yes, this is what I was looking for. Like, if I have a long-term vision, I can probably change many things. And there was a very beautiful one story which I remember out of this is, there was an airline called Douglas Airline in UK, and that was very big. And Boeing was coming up at that moment. Boeing was a smaller company which was making aircrafts for US Army and all this. And all of a sudden, there was a shift in leadership. There was a new CEO who came in Boeing, and all of a sudden, this CEO said, "We are going to hunt down Douglas. We are going to become bigger than Douglas. We are going to go into the passenger aircrafts." And everybody said the CEO is mad. Like, he had exhausted all his assets, all his money, but his vision was so solid. All over the newspapers, there was a news that, this Boeing CEO is going to crumble Boeing completely. He's going to really ruin the brand and this and that. And there were lot of criticism for all his decisions. But he was adamant. He said, "I'm going to build the most successful company for the passenger aircraft." Now today, because Douglas was very big, but somewhere the leadership lost the vision in the future, or maybe whatever happened. But Boeing had a CEO with a very large vision and very big vision, and his core in that entire vision executing was risk taking. When he really discovered his core, that my core is risk taking and my core is like really growing beyond, he was able to discover it. He was able to train his team. He was able to percolate that particular value system in his each and every team member, and then they were able to grow. I was called by this company called Deutsche Bank, and for 2.5 years consecutively, they gave me only one training assignment over there, and that was customer centricity. And they said our core value is to to really treat our customers like kings, and we want each and every employee, new joinee of ours, to think beyond their obvious ways to satisfy the customers. And I was also happy doing that assignment, because I knew that all these big companies are built around those strong value systems and strong pillars which they do not compromise. So I think every founder must have a very powerful vision. Vision has 3 to 4 elements. One, which is a fixed element, which is like a core purpose, core value, which cannot be ever, which can never change. Like, even in the lifespan of the company, or after the founders are dead, maybe after that also, that company keeps running on those value system. The second part is like having a 50 years goal or 25 years goal, that we want to be like this. I was running a business program, and I invited one of the sales heads from Mercedes-Benz, very senior leader, Mr. Prasad Salunke, and he shared that at Mercedes-Benz, the senior leadership team is not day in and day out discussing about revenue. That revenue plan is given to the directors, or maybe the different team leaders or business leaders, and the target is set, given to them, and they keep doing. At the core leadership and the board of directors level, we are only discussing about how the company is going to survive for the next 25 years, or how we are going to be relevant for the next 50 years. So we are only busy discussing long term, long term, long term, and our decisions are not based on short term. I mean, I fell in love with this, and my passion had been to teach every business entrepreneur, or every entrepreneur who, or every startup who comes closer to me, the concept of vision, how it is relevant, how it can transform the entire journey. There are hundreds of case studies which I can share with you right now, where the business owner was like struggling for the last 10 years, and all of a sudden he had this concept. His mind was little, it was tough. It takes around 5-6 years. Like one company I will just give you, Macforce India Limited. These were four young guys, like they were 31 years old, and their only business turnover was only, I think, around 90 lakh rupees annually, which was hardly nothing. They were taking home only 25,000 rupees each every month as a salary. And when they had this vision concept, they came to one of my programs, Discover Your Vision, and then they were sitting over there for 2 days, 3 days. It is a 3 days residential program. So after 3 days, they went back and discussed the entire concept with two other partners. Then 6 full months they were like discussing with me back and forth, sir, how can we implement this and all those things. After 6 months, when we implemented, they were able to really grow exponentially. I must tell you, to cut the entire story short, 2017 this happened, and today 2025 they are a listed company. The valuation is more than 950 crores. Their share price when they were listed was around 94 rupees. Now it is around 850 rupees. And the turnover of the company is more than around 210 crore rupees or something. So this is what, like, the moment they had this grand vision, the expansion was so big. I always tell all the entrepreneurs, like, today if you discover your vision, in the next 10 years you will be known to the entire world in your space, in your domain. I mean, that's the kind of success vision can create. Only vision can create. Vision is that pull force. Most of the businessmen are busy pushing themselves, like, I need to do this, I need to achieve this. But if they have a pull force, they can really reach to the greatest possible heights. And that pull force is like which really drives them so crazy. I think that's what I would like to share, Shivani, at this moment. But I recommend everyone to read these two books, or at least one book, Built to Last, so that you can see what is the difference between ordinary companies and visionary companies and how they build the businesses and legacies. Yeah.
I really appreciate the kind of insights you are sharing with us. The key insights from this answer is obviously vision. One company lost the vision, and the other always had the vision and the capability to take risks, which have made them, which have ensured that they are where they are today. And the culture. In fact, you've already answered my next question for you, Bhupenddra, but we can go deeper into the culture part. Jatin, I'm coming back to you. Um, you are in this, space where you can choose the kind of company you want to scale. And tell me, what do you see in that person? What is the most important 2 to 3, which gives you an assurance that, yes, this is the partner I want to partner with and help him or her grow?
Right. Yeah, I mean, first of all, of course, we look at founders who are obsessed with their category, who are obsessed with their processes, with their product, with the product market fit, and who are at a stage where they know that they have perfected one version of something which can be scaled, because it's very important that before you decide that you want to scale or you want to franchise, there needs to be something which needs to work for you or in your favor. And those things can, I mean, product market fit is a very broad term, but like someone really, like I was having this conversation with one of my batchmates from IIT Bombay, who is also an entrepreneur, and we were just discussing about product market fit. And a very easy way to explain product market fit is actually when you don't have to kind of fight against, you don't feel like you're kind of going against the river or you're going against the stream. And when things are actually flowing, when things are actually more easy, you realize that, hey, making another customer is more easier, or kind of growing your business is a little more easier. And that's when you realize that, hey, these things are which are working in my business, which is actually making my single unit or single cafe or single preschool or a salon kind of profitable. And if that is working, it makes it easy for you to say that, hey, these things are working for me. It is working for 5 centers of mine, and now I want to scale it to 100x. I want to scale it to like 1,000 stores, and to kind of do that is essentially to kind of bring processes in place. But yeah, I mean, we look at founders who have that category obsession, who have kind of achieved that product market fit. And second, of course, a platform thinking. not kind of thinking of their business as a traditional setup versus actually thinking that they want to build generational wealth. And it's a very different mindset. One is kind of living from paycheck to paycheck, and how Bhupendra very rightly said that those founders were kind of doing a certain revenue and kind of drawing 25,000 for themselves. And I've literally seen founders like those, and who have been say at a 2 crore annual business, and but they are barely able to kind of draw something out of the business for themselves. And that's where it is very important to kind of have that mindset shift, and kind of look at people who have this platform thinking, who kind of think that, hey, we want to build generational wealth and we want to kind of grow it into an organization which is way beyond a single person. Because that's the difference you'll see, like when someone is kind of running a single thing and who wants to be on the driver's seat, they'll look at it as like you will not be able to differentiate between the person and the business. But now when you look at an organization, the organization is not that person. Like Jatin is not Expertrons, but Expertrons is way more than Jatin, and that's where you kind of differentiate between the organization and the person. So kind of having that platform thinking is something very important. We'll look at founders for, and I'll just give a simple example of 7-Eleven, and it kind of scaled to like 85,000 stores, and it came out of Japan, and now it is global. It kind of opens one store every 2.5, like in every 2.5 hours it kind of opens up a store, and that can only happen when you kind of have a vision for it. You actually have processes in place, and you actually want to kind of scale in a certain way. And we kind of look at this rapid scale happening in the US, in Japan, in China, and we know that in India consumers have that paying capacity, and we are actually looking for the next such QSR brand or next such store brand to kind of scale, and that's what we look at in a founder who kind of have the vision for doing that, because we do believe that is yet to come in India. It's just a matter of time. If we don't identify them and help them scale, there's someone else who's going to do it. But yeah, I mean, we will look at founders who kind of fit that vision board.
Right. I totally can see how you are guiding your partners. My one more question to you, Jatin, is that obviously they are taking baby steps initially towards this whole model and might be overwhelming. What are the fears they might face, and how do you help them kind of overcome those fears or overcome those struggles? You are like their partner constantly. It's not just growth 100x, but also we are there for you 100%.
Right.
If I could put it that way.
Right. No, very nicely put. And like we do have a lot of different founders who kind of one. I mean, and it's very surprising to see, because like between me and my co-founder, because we have seen businesses, we have scaled them, we have like gotten, like in my last company, we raised from Amitabh Bachchan was the brand ambassador and investor in our company, and kind of served 2 million students, because we have seen certain scale. We come from that background. Even at Expertrons, we had raised funds from Kunal Shah, from Cred, and we've kind of served a lot of early professionals and everything, because we have seen scale. We only think of kind of scale and everything, and when we talk to founders, it's too surprising to see that they are not able to kind of even think beyond the ceiling, because they've always thought of it as a side project which would give them some income and which would just make them financially free. Ki mere ko office nahi jana padega, or like they just think of this as a project which will kind of give them some income. So for a founder like that, for us to kind of give them that vision, it's always something they fear of, and they think that, hey, is it even possible? And when we kind of talk with them that, hey, this is not only possible, we are kind of going to invest with you in the journey, and we are going to help you scale through the process. Of course, what they need to take care of is a certain thing. They need to take care of supporting their franchisees. They need to take care of certain functions within their business. So they handle very core functions, and we take off their plate the scaling factor, where we help them with branding, sales, marketing, and kind of help them scale to different partners. And that's where they realize that, hey, taking something off their plate will give them more time for the important things. Like they can actually now focus on managing unit economics of each of their stores. They can now kind of focus on the fundraise part and kind of work with us. And if we make newer introduction to investors, they can go out and pitch. They'll have more time to kind of do things like that. And I think focus is a very underrated quality for early stage investors, because what we see in most of the cases, people kind of try to do everything and kind of be good at almost none of them, and kind of trying four things and not being good at that. Rather, focus is something which kind of helps businesses scale, and that's another thing which we kind of try to kind of convey to founders we work with. And and it kind of opens up their vision towards that. Hey, if we have to do this, we have to completely focus on one thing and do that at best. And that is something, that is somewhere they are able to kind of leave some of these things for us to execute, and they then focus on their core part of the business which they are really good at. So yeah, I mean, we look at these qualities, and we of course try to convey these to the founders.
Right, right, right. We are coming to the conclusion of this interview, not of the webinar. Please, my audience, wait around because we have very, very exciting announcement, which I'm going to make in just few seconds. But any final thoughts, Bhupendra, and even Jatin, you want to give, as your parting shot to the audience? There is a question answer session later where they can obviously ask you. But any final statements?
Yeah, Shivani. So my final statement is that each one of us really, really need to understand that the business growth is not very complicated if only we are taking the help of the experts. Not that experts mean me or Jatin or Shivani. Expert means anybody, like any small business owner. If that person is running a business of a salon, he should first take the guidance of those business owners who are running the greatest of the salons. I think this can cut short the journey. I've heard a statement that life is not long enough to make all the possible mistakes and learn from them. Wise people are the ones who really follow the footpath or footsteps of all those people who have actually done something big or something wrong. So wise people learn from other people's mistake, other people's failures, and other people's success stories. And I think that is the best thing. So learn from the best and throw the rest. Whatever you really don't like, you throw it. Whatever you can apply in your business. I think that's the best way. Do not apply your brain every place. Do not reinvent the wheel every possible time. We have enough things which has happened in the past, and if we can take the best of the clues from them, then we can grow. So final statement from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is one of the greatest thought leaders on the planet. I mean, he was one of the best. So he says success leaves clues, and if anybody, that means if anyone has become successful in any field, either franchising or maybe individual business, taking it to the next level, or individual brand, then just follow those footsteps, apply them as it is, and you will be able to see a lot of results in your business as well.
No, I think very, very well put, Bhupendra. I think a very, very lovely way you have kind of tried to summarize this entire thing. And I think just to add to this, of course, it it looks very. I mean, overnights. It might look that someone has gotten successful overnight, but as the quote says, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And there's of course a lot of consistency. There's a lot of energy you put into kind of becoming successful, and that's something which anyone who is starting a business needs to kind of do. And also on this on the mentorship side, where you said that you of course need to learn from the best. There's also this other quote: you actually become a combination of five of your good friends, and that's a very important aspect. You need to surround yourself with successful people, and you kind of will start inculcating their qualities. You'll start kind of, and that's a very important aspect. You need to kind of have people around you who have kind of done really better than you, and you kind of end up learning from them. And that's where the last example you were giving, Bhupendra, that people go and ask advice from people who have not done businesses or who are at jobs, and that's not exactly the ideal target you would want to kind of go and get your mentorship from. You would of course want to do it from people whom you can look up to, whom you feel that hey, you want to reach there at some point, and that's where your success will be kind of will be assured. And of course you need to learn from these folks and surround yourself with such folks. Of course, the harder way would be to make mistakes and then learn, but that and as Bhupenddra said, even the lifetime may not be enough to kind of do that. But the easier way is kind of do it with the right set of mentors, right set of experts, right set of advisors. So that's a very important thought, kind of. Yeah.
Excellent. My audience, please don't go away. You might not have lifetime to make mistakes, but if you are doing a business of 1 crore plus in revenue and you are serious about scaling, not just slowly, but smartly, 100x Growth Partners by Expertrons is offering a free consultation with Jatin Solanki and team. The link is in the chat. So make sure you fill the form, share your details, and see if you're ready to turn your product into a platform. Because scale doesn't start with a strategy, it starts with the right shift in thinking, which has been amply explained by both our experts here today. Thank you so much. But now I'm going to open the forum to the question and answers, which I'm sure our audience has been waiting to answer. So please, if you are a MSME or a founder or even just a person who is thinking of becoming a business owner, this is your chance to ask two people who have actually helped businesses scale. So please shoot. Let's open the floor for question and answer.
I enjoyed this conversation more than anything else. So Jatin, such a lovely insight from your side.
So I yes, I did. I have plans.
This was
I've
yeah,
got plans
Shivani.
to start any business, but I found it very interesting. So thankful to both of you. I can see already
Maybe
one.
your plans may change after like more such sessions.
I have one question from Mr. Satya Niranjan, who says that how does a product company build trust with reseller or franchisee with changing market reality? What if the product company keep changing their financial market of the reseller based in the market? I'm not sure whom this is addressed. Feel free to any one of you to pick it up.
Yeah,
Jatin,
I
would you
think
like to? Yeah.
yeah, I can maybe just take a crack at it, and Bhupenddra, you can add to it. I mean, trust is of course a two-way street, and I mean, of course, you need to build that first with your customers. I mean, I feel your customer or your end consumer is the most important person who will matter. If you're able to kind of build a trust with your end consumer, uh, the rest will kind of fall in place. And like for a partner or a reseller or whatever you're wanting to create, they'll also kind of come and they'll look at how you are with the consumers. So if your consumers are happy, if your service is really good, a partner is not something different. A franchise partner is also a consumer at the end of the day. So they may have maybe tasted your chai, or they may have kind of been to your salon, or they may have been parents who have sent their kids to your preschool. And that's where some of the best partners kind of come. And we have seen that with a lot of brands we work. One of most of their initial franchisees or resellers have been people who have experienced their services. And that's how kind of you win trust with your partners or with your resellers. You win trust with your consumers. You get the best of the consumer love, and when you get the best of the consumer love, some of these consumers will come and say, hey, can I kind of franchise your business? And some of these businesses who were not even into franchising started like this, like because there were consumers coming and saying, hey, I want to open up, say, your shop in my locality, I want to open up your cafe in my locality. And the founder is like, okay, I mean, I was just building coffees and I didn't know that someone would like to kind of replicate this to their place. And yeah, I mean, I feel you need to kind of just build that trust with your consumer, and you'll reach there. Yeah.
Okay, well said, well said. Next question, because I want to take as many questions as possible. Pragnya Kaddi, she's asking, how can I determine if my business is ready for franchising? Bhupenddra, do you want to take a shot at that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Pradnya, first of all, like, do you have a very good product which is solving some or the other problem? Number one. Number two, if you think that this product is the need of the masses, or if it is the need of larger market. Number three, if you think that this product can be standardized, there are certain products they may or may not be standardized. They are like, well, or maybe too much of complication. So if it has got some standardization process in that, if it can be standardized, then it can be. Another thing is, if you have yourself run that business and are confident that this is going to give a lot of profit to you, or if you have the experience of making some profits from this business, then I think you can discuss with a coach or a mentor who is like Jatin, because Jatin is specially focused on helping people launch their franchisees. So you can discuss with them, and then they can do some due diligence, and if there are certain missing links, they can really make you correct, and after that you can definitely launch it. Maybe you will first go for that trial version wherein 10-15 franchises are given, and if they run successfully, then you can expand. But you should not do this mistake that all of a sudden, without any kind of testing, you just want to have 100 franchisees and all 100 are dissatisfied. I don't want to name one, like, but recently there was a story, you may have read. There was a guy who was charging around 20 lakh rupees for his franchisee, and he made false commitments to people that, okay, you invest every month 20, I mean, in one go 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs, and then you will be making every month 25 lakhs or maybe 30 lakhs. And at the end of the day, a lot of people filed complaints against him. Police FIRs were there. So that should not be there. So I think, one mistake can cost you a lifetime of your brand or savings or everything. That is why never make this kind of a mistake. Never go in business or franchisee model without a credible, partner who can help you launch smoothly and systematically. That's what my
No,
recommendation.
very beautifully said, Bhupendra. And just to add to that point, uh, these partners, it's a two-way sword. Like they may become your asset or they may become your liability. So if you don't have systems, SOPs, you don't have things in place to kind of support the partner, and if you really, and that's what I meant when I said product market fit. If you don't have something which is going for you, which is really running for you, running well in five of your own stores, and you have kind of seen all the ups and downs of it, the location, the marketing, the interior, all of that. And if you have yourself experienced it and you know that, hey, you will be able to support a partner in that journey, because it is also about creating a sustainable brand and not about kind of just creating 100 franchisee and then they become your liability. Because I mean they'll sit on your head and they'll expect support from you, and if you have not figured out your own business, then of course it kind of becomes a liability for you. So you have to be very careful in terms of are you kind of franchise ready, are you kind of, and that's where the scale kind of, and that's where the scale kind of comes into picture, the product market fit kind of comes into picture. Yeah.
I'm very glad that the right questions are eliciting the right answers. A lot of interesting information. Another question asked by Manuel Fernandez. What are the steps to quantify a problem statement that will draw interest of investors? Who would like to give a go?
I think I would like Jatin to take this question.
uh, I mean, so basically, an investor is someone who's looking for, I mean, and these are people in, say, a tier two, tier three city who's actually looking to kind of run something, break even at a certain point, and make money on a monthly basis. They maybe like and in tier two, tier three city, it's there's a capping in terms of how much one can kind of earn. From a job, someone can earn say 50,000, and there's a capping in terms of how much they can earn, and that's why most of those people have to kind of get into businesses, either start on their own or kind of trust on a brand or a really good founder to kind of franchise their business, and that's what they are looking for, and for you to kind of draw interest of investors, you of course have to have a model which is providing that full support to such an investor in a tier two, tier three, tier one city, and that's where the there it needs to be a plug and play model for them. It needs to be something which is really dummied down and is something which is scalable at a point. So someone who may not know about a certain business and wants to get into a certain business, there can be some of these things which can be passed to a partner and some of these things which cannot be. And that's very important for a founder to know that, hey, if I'm a salon business, maybe say recruitment of trained resources is something which I'll keep as an entity, as a company, and I'm going to provide this service to a partner, because a partner will not be able to kind of do a recruitment of a trained resource because they don't know which sources are they from. So it's very important for a company who wants to kind of franchise to kind of make it as easy as possible, like how franchising for dummies, you may call it a playbook, and that's very important. You have to kind of make it very easy for a partner to kind of plug and play and kind of start the franchisee. And also the ROI table needs to be really interesting. The investment cannot be really huge. The break even cannot be say at 2 years or 2.5 years. Like if the investment is say 2 crores and the break even is after 3 years, that business is doomed to fail, because if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. And of course, like all the assumptions within the ROI table needs to be very conservative. And these are some of these things which you of course need to kind of have to kind of draw the interest of the right set of investors. Also, you need to define the TG really right. So if you're in a certain business and you need you are in the car business and you need only people who have worked in the car business before to kind of take your franchisee, then of course you need to identify that TG also perfectly to kind of get the right set of franchise for your particular business.
Okay. Okay. Next question is from Palak Sinha. I think Jatin, you might want to take this up. What patterns do you see among businesses that are truly ready to scale?
Right. But like a very good question, and I think I did answer in parts before. Of course, we do look at businesses where there is product market fit, where of course your own center, where your own business is kind of running well. You've been running it for at least a year. It has been running well. It has been like in terms of unit economics, it has been profitable. You also have been able to kind of scale it in a certain way. So say you did it at one place and you have been able to do it at two more places, and you feel that it is now only a factor of investing more. So if you actually had the capital, you could scale it to 100 locations, but you're going the franchise route only because you don't have the capital and you want to kind of de-risk yourself, and you want to of course give opportunity to micro entrepreneurs while doing so. And that is very important. Like say if you had the capital today, will you actually go up and open up these 100 locations? And that kind of answers the part that is the business ready to scale. And are there processes in place? Are there SOPs in place? If someone kind of opens up these 10 locations, will you be able to provide them with the support? So that those are some of the things which we always tell the founders to critically think upon, because it is not about just making franchises. It is actually about creating sustainable business. It is actually about creating generational wealth for you. So yeah, I mean that's a very important aspect to look at.
Okay, that was very, very well explained. I have one more question, which is from Syed, and he is asking that if you, or either of you, have experience in scaling edtech. Edtech is like really in fad, has always been. So, can you put some light on the edtech franchise expansion?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
fact, yeah. So
Bhupenddra, yeah, I would love to hear.
there's a edtech company called Brainywood, and that Brainywood company, I'm coaching them to take them to the next level. And this is an edtech company in the space of they are building some courses for students for um, their memorization and their recall capacity to be increased. And we have already created, like they have a different model altogether. They are the one of the founders is building so many courses, standardizing them, and then we are giving a lot of franchisees. So we came up with a very unique concept for them that was called Brain Science Lab. So that lab is the unique concept, and I think, I mean, very few people have that kind of lab, and now we are installing it in various schools. So recently, one of the army schools we affiliated with, and they applied. I mean, they uh, had that particular lab, and that franchisee cost for that lab is around 5 lakh rupees or something. And now they have such kind of like around more than 150 school tie-ups and 150 plus franchisees, and now schools are charging revenue from the students, and they are getting the part of. Another concept of theirs was like there were a lot of independent people who wanted to become memory trainers, or they wanted to have those speed reading kind of trainers, and wanted to help students. So we designed a system wherein a lot of individual people got their franchisee, and now just by paying a very small amount, they are able to start and launch their courses over there. So yeah, we have little experience. I would say not say that this is a giant experience like building by Jews kind of a thing, but yeah. If you are just starting, we can definitely help you to reach to those 2, 3, 4, 500 franchisees. And if your model is good, if your product is really, really good, which can help franchisees make money very quick without much of the hassle, I think we can help you with that.
Great,
Yeah.
great, great. Jatin, any final thoughts? I'm going to make this the last question before I conclude. Any final thoughts on this?
No, I think very well put. And in like within EdTech, of course, we have ourselves kind of like my previous venture, my co-founder's previous venture. We both have kind of scaled our education business using a partner model. Of course, our businesses did not have any physical setup, so it was not like expanding a coaching business to 100 centers or something. But it was essentially like finding a partner who would do ATL, BTL activities, would approach schools, would approach colleges, would do activities there, and then kind of sell to these places. And that's where we have kind of seen really good success. My co-founder's previous venture, it was in the JE NEET preparation, and they had one of the partners in Jammu and Kashmir who kind of implemented their JE NEET CDs across libraries in Kashmir. I had one of the partners who kind of implemented our gamification of learning across 15 tribal schools in Maharashtra. So we have seen really good success with some of these partners helping us to expand. And of course, like whatever success we had seen in kind of reaching out to schools or reaching out to B2G, we kind of passed that as an SOP to the partners, and the partners were also able to kind of do so. Uh, so yeah, I mean that's in like within a tech, of course, there is a lot of scope to kind of create a partner model and kind of to scale.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. What a fantastic session that was. I'm sure all our audience will agree. I enjoyed it thoroughly. A big thank you to our speakers, Bhupenddra Singh Raathore and Jatin Solanki, for sharing real stories, proven strategies, and giving us profound clarity on what it really takes to scale, not just telling us the good part, but also the pitfalls, the struggles. And to all of you who joined us, thank you very much for all the energy, the questions, and the curiosity you demonstrated today. So thank you so much. But before we sign off, one final reminder: if you are a business doing 1+ crore or more in annual revenue and you are serious about scaling, as in serious, don't miss this chance to get a free consultation with Jatin and the 100x Growth Partners team. The link, I'll remind you again, is in the chat. Fill it out and let's find out if your business is ready to scale 10x, 100x, 200x. See you in the next master's class. And let me remind you, this is an initiative in association with LiveMint by 100x Growth Partners by Expertrons, and they are offering a free consultation. So thank you to both the speakers. Thank you to all the audience. Thank you. See you and goodbye.
Thanks, Bhupendraji. Thanks,
Thank
Shivani.
you. Thank you,
Thanks.
Shiva.